A broadcast service of City College and the San Diego Community College District. This is Jazz FM 88.3 KSDS San Diego. I'm Dave Drexler with Inside Art. Support for Inside Art comes from the members of San Diego's Jazz 88.3.
You go to my head.
I'm Dave Drexler with Inside Art. Beginning May 12th, La Jolla Playhouse opens its new season with a show the New York Post calls unstoppably fierce, funny, and ruthless. Purpose, Brandon Jacobs Jenkins' 2025 Tony and Pulitzer Prize-winning play, follows the influential Jasper family of Chicago, a pillar of Black American politics, including civil rights leaders, celebrity pastors, and congressmen. When the family's youngest son, Nazareth, returns home with an uninvited friend in tow, the family is forced to reckon with decades of secrets and unresolved tensions that threaten to topple the Jasper empire. Joining me to preview Purpose and the full 2026-27 season is La Jolla Playhouse's incoming artistic director, Jessica Stone. Among her many distinguished directing credits, Stone is a two-time Tony nominee for her direction of 2024's Water for Elephants and Kimberly Akimbo, which earned the Tony Award for Best Musical in 2023. Jessica Stone, it's great to have you in San Diego and on Inside Art.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I understand that San Diego is maybe, I wouldn't call it maybe officially a second home in the past with directing, but you've spent a lot of time here.
I really did. Before the pandemic and before my work in New York really took my attention in New York, I directed 5 shows at the Old Globe. Ironically, I've never directed at La Jolla, so I'm looking forward to beginning that chapter. But I do think of San Diego as a home away from home, and so does my family. So I'm very, very excited to be back out there.
Well, as you settle into the role of artistic director at one of the best regional theaters in the country by any standard, what are some of the most exciting challenges for you as you look ahead?
One of the challenges for me is that I've never done it. I've never run an institution like this. I spent an entire life as a freelance director, and before that, even a freelance actor. So one of the joys and one of the things I'm looking most forward to is having a conversation with an audience over an entire season, over many seasons, as opposed to just one evening. You know, when you freelance, you're telling one story and that's it for that chapter of that production. And so I'm really looking to having pieces of theater that are in conversation with one another over a season and over many seasons. I
like that idea of the connections between the pieces within a season. That's interesting to me. So this position also allows you to, obviously work with new people in theater, but to call upon the people that you've come up through the ranks with and bring them to San Diego and showcase a little bit of their work as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm really excited about the opportunity to create an artistic home for artists. And I have so many in my life that I adore and that I admire. And I can't wait to not only meet the artists that call La Jolla home now, but to bring new artists into the fold. It's also a spectacular organization. I get to link arms with Debbie Buchholz, who's the longtime managing director of the Playhouse, and I'm so lucky to be able to co-lead with her. And Eric Heen-Lee, who is our associate, and he's has incredible taste, and it's a wonderful staff and a wonderful board, and it's just a lot of people who really care about making audacious art.
Well, we wish you much success as the new artistic director of La Jolla Playhouse. And you've been given a pretty good season by Christopher Ashley to start with here. And the first show out of the gate is Purpose, a Tony and Pulitzer Prize-winning play that's highly lauded.
It's such a spiky, funny, unsparing play that gives audiences a peek into a family with much to live up to and much to lose. I feel really honored to be the mama bear of this season, because most people don't know that often incoming artistic directors, the first season under their name isn't one that they necessarily planned. And this was one that Chris Ashley and Eric Keane Louie, programmed. And I'm so happy to be its mama bear and to help shepherd it, because it really is talking about themes. Most of these offerings this year center around family and community, warts and all. And this is no exception. It's just a really hilarious, brutal exploration of legacy and heritage and self-definition. And Brandon is one of my favorite contemporary playwrights and the very definition of the new and the next. So I'm really excited for audiences to experience this play.
Well, with Purpose, I've seen a lot of reviews that note Brandon Jacobs Jenkins' sense of risk-taking in his writing. And maybe you could maybe flesh that out a little bit about that side of this piece.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I do think that, as I said, he's unsparing in terms of not just family dynamics in this play, but where human beings have their blind spots. And he writes plays that we all can identify with each and every character and cringe at their missteps. He has a really, really sharp eye for human behavior. And it's exactly why you go to the theater.
Purpose runs May 12th through June 7th on the Mandelweiss Theater stage at La Jolla Playhouse. The following piece in June is one set in a world we don't often think about in theater, mixed martial arts. It's called The Monsters.
Yes, it's primarily about siblings set in the world of mixed martial arts. And I was lucky enough to see, this is The Monsters by Ngozi Anyanwu, directed by Timila Woodard. And I was lucky enough to see the production that Ngozi directed in New York. And she is now starring in it at the Playhouse. And it is, again, a poetic, stylish, gritty, action-charged love story between these estranged siblings. Ngozi is actually a UCSD MFA graduate.
Oh.
And she's just such an exciting playwright. And she just explores these bonds and reunions. And it's this fight to build a life that you can be proud of. And this play was critically acclaimed off Broadway and is a co-production with Berkeley Rep. And it just knocked me out. I probably shouldn't have used that metaphor, but it knocked me out when I saw it in New York. It's absolutely beautiful and it's so moving and also really, really funny. My favorite theater is it's the stories that can encase pain and humor and beauty in any given second, because that's what life is. Life is all of it in one. And this truly exemplifies that.
Again, a story of family, as is the one that follows that, a musical, the Family Album in running July and August.
That's right. This is a world premiere musical with a book by Sam Chance and music and lyrics by Milk, Connie K. Lim, and AG. It was conceived by Milk, and it's directed by Jess McLeod. It was actually also conceived by Jess McLeod, Milk and Jess McLeod. And this musical is a powerful and soulful Playhouse commission about finding and reclaiming your voice and using it for change. Some of our audience might know Milk and AG's song Quiet from 2016, which was a song about Milk's survivor journey, and it became this viral sensation. And that spirit is what sort of inspired Sam Chance to draw on each of their personal stories to create the Family Album. And the score is absolutely, the kids say a bop. Or do they even say that anymore? I'm just old, no matter what I say. But the score is so catchy and so haunting and so joyful. And the story is about a family and its secrets and its ability to repress them and then deal with them when they no longer can be repressed. And it's just absolutely it's a beautiful, beautiful musical. I'm really excited for people to see it.
That's the family album, and it's the first of 3 musicals in the season at La Jolla Playhouse.
Yes.
We'll get to the other 2 in a moment, but I didn't want to miss Black-Billed Cuckoo later in the summer and early fall. That's got an interesting premise.
Yes. Well, and this is another world premiere by Matt Smart, who is an award-winning playwright and another UCSD MFA graduate. And it's directed by Shelley Butler, who is an old friend and a wonderful, really smart director with elegant taste. And this play introduces us to the fascinating community of people who revel in the idea that any given day might bring something they've never seen before. They are a group of birdists. This is actually the 13th play to come from the Playhouse's DNA New Work series. And it's a comedy about healing and wonder and how to move on after loss and after missing out. It's basically about this elusive bird, the black-billed cuckoo, which is notoriously hard to find. And it's exactly what Ruth has been searching for. And over 24 hours in Brooklyn's Prospect Park, this close-knit birding group is thrown into chaos when some members glimpse the bird and others don't. And one of the reasons I love this play is it actually centers around a middle-aged woman and older, even older than middle-aged. And we don't always hear those stories. And I think older women have a lot to share. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm particularly in love with this play.
Again, that's a Blackbird Cuckoo running in September and October at La Jolla Playhouse. And then that's followed by 2 big production musicals, Grimm and Particle Fever.
Yes, and Grimm is world premiere with a book by Joey Orton and Brad Silnitzer and music and lyrics by Petro AP, Scott Hoying, Joey Orton, and Brad Silnitzer. And it's directed by Sammy Canold, a very, very talented, I was going to say young up-and-coming director. She's basically arrived. Up-and-coming doesn't count anymore. And this musical is just a delightfully irreverent and heart-forward piece about the exploits of the Grim Reaper's daughter. It's hilarious and heartbreaking, and it celebrates life and death. There's this all-star creative team and an infectious score and really sharp humor. And what I love about Grimm is the spectrum of ages that it appeals to is wide. And it's just this beautiful musical and hilarious musical about the daughter of the Grim Reaper who unexpectedly takes over his job. And it's about identity. Can she do it? Does she want the job? Is she able to do the job? And she is assigned to take the life of somebody on Earth. And hilarity and heartbreak ensues.
After 300,000 years, the Grim Reaper is retiring.
That's right.
What a premise.
That's exactly right. Yeah, really, really funny.
And the final show of this particular season, Particle Fever, based on a documentary, Particle Fever, the same name.
Yes, and another world premiere, which I'm just so proud of Eric and Chris and the Playhouse, and now me, that we all care so much about new work and that we have a devoted audience that is also hungry for new work. This is a musical based on the documentary film by Mark Levinson and David Kaplan, book by David Henry Hwang, and music and lyrics by Bear McCreary and Zoe Sarnak. This is based on the documentary Particle Fever, which hurdles audiences into the most ambitious experiment ever attempted. So more than 10,000 scientists from around the world joined forces to build the Large Hadron Collider and solve one of the universe's greatest mysteries. Seems, upon first hearing, like sort of, is this something that we sing about? Is science something that we can sing about? But there is so much art and chaos and even humor in human beings attempting to answer big questions, that it is absolutely something that can be sung about. This music by Bear McCreary and Zoe Sarnak soars. And David Henry Hwang is one of our greatest writers. And it captures the thrill of discovery. And it's a love letter to curiosity and ambition and resilience and hope. And it's just a really, really beautiful story.
It sounds like an exciting year ahead for the theater at La Jolla Playhouse and its new incoming artistic director, Jessica Stone. Thank you very much, Jessica. We look forward to speaking with you much more in the future, and thanks for coming on today on Inside Art.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
La Jolla Playhouse opens its 2026-27 season with the Tony and Pulitzer Prize-winning play Purpose, running May 12th through June 7th at the Playhouse's Mandel Weiss Theater. You can purchase tickets and learn more about the entire season of plays and musicals at lajollaplayhouse.org. Inside Art is made possible with support from the members of Jazz 88.3. Replays and extended versions of every Inside Art broadcast are available online at jazz88.org/Inside Art. Our theme is created and performed by Bill Mays, whose music is available at billmays.net. Again, my thanks to Jessica Stone and Chanel Johns. For Jazz 88.3, I'm Dave Drexler. Join me again on air and online for another edition of Inside Art. Jazz Inspired is next.